Hey, I'm Angela Hughes. I'm here with Insider Travel Report, and I'm happy to meet with David Griffith, who's in charge of the international golf travel market. And we've got so many things to share with you for Insider Travel Report and more. Welcome to the show for a minute.
Thank you.
Yeah, so how did you get started with IGTM?
I started at IGTM 5 years ago. So this is coming up to my fifth show. Obviously, we've had the COVID pandemic in between, which was tough. I used to work for one of the tour operators. So for about 8 or 9 years, one of the UK tour operators. And then I actually moved across to sell to the exhibitors. So lots of the people that I used to book golf holidays with, I now sell to them to come to the show. And then I joined as event manager just at the beginning of this year.
Okay, so I know that you guys primarily worked with just the golf industry, but now you're expanding it more to tour operators, to travel advisors, especially in the United States. That's why I'm here, to try to grow their golf market. How has the golf market really taken off and really become an integral piece of the industry?
Yeah, so I think there's a common misconception that golf, I guess, is just about kind of a male-dominated for sort of an older generation of golfers, and I think that's where we're really trying to break that mold or help break that mold. Because for golfers, there's so many more female golfers, there's so many more younger golfers. It's so much more of a market that we can start to work with. And also from our side, Reed Exhibitions, who own RX Global, who own IGTM. We also work on lots of other leisure shows, luxury shows. And that's where I think we're really trying to create this synonymity between it. Because you'll see a lot of the brands that here at the moment are very good 5-star high-end properties. Right. And that's what really appeals to the travel advisors and the travel agents. So
I know a lot of you have attended ILTM in France and in North America. So this is part of the same group with the golf division per se.
Correct, exactly that. So we know there's so many intricacies in between luxury and golf. So a lot of the hotels are the same. A lot of the high-end properties, a lot of the hotel chains will all have golf courses attached to them. So I think for us, it's very much about showcasing that. And providing the opportunity for anyone who, even though they may not book that much golf, they don't have to be golf specific, but there is definitely an opportunity to really grow your brand and really grow your network coming to somewhere like IGTM.
Yeah, and so this is a really popular niche for everybody who's watching this, because you can not only bring your incentive groups, your alumni groups, and bring them into the golf market. I mean, you can integrate different programs that you already have and add that golf element. Okay, it seems like I'm meeting a lot of advisors from all over the world. You guys are pretty global with this show.
Yeah, so it's we really want to try and focus ourselves as truly the biggest global show, truly international show. So we have 380 suppliers here this week. We're from 45 countries and 305 supplier buyers, so tour operators and travel advisors from 47 different countries, as well as 30 media from 12 different countries. So we really want to position ourselves as the truly global show where everybody from around the world that are all interested in growing the global golf tourism market can all meet at the same place at the same time.
Okay, so if we have rookie agents who want to break into golf, what's the criteria that they need to match to be invited to this? Because it is invitation only.
So it's an invitation only and it's pre-qualified. So I think what's come to some of the key points so that you place business in 2 different continents around the world in the last 6 months.
So 2 continents.
That you are a decision maker, that you have buying power. And that you're here to meet with suppliers that are, the key suppliers from around the world. I think it's quite a basic, I guess, but we.
And is there a dollar volume that you guys are looking at, or when you vet somebody, or is it basically those 3 things?
So those 3 things. I think we don't tend to go into too much about revenue and dollar and generated and things. I think it's more just about, because we know that there are some that will book lots and lots of golf travel all year round. They'll do so many. They'll be golf specific and they'll do it a lot, but there will also be many that will just have it as an element of their business.
Right.
And as long as they're here to provide, it could be providing everybody, all the suppliers here with some business, or it could be just 1 or 2. But as long as they're providing value to the exhibitors that are here, then we see that as a real positive, a real win.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the hot spots around the world for golf right now. I think in the past, people think just Scotland and Ireland if you're going to come play golf. Tell me your like top 3 growing markets. Let's talk about that for a minute.
Growing markets, I think you can see it here for some of the sort of North African markets, so Morocco, Egypt. So you've also then got into South Africa. I think there's some fantastic product on display. So, I mean, Spain and Portugal for us, as well as obviously for the US market, without doubt, Ireland and Scotland is always really, really key. But even if you look outside of Ireland and Scotland, you look into England and Wales,
right.
You know, those links courses are still very much abundant in those countries. So there's definitely opportunities there. And then, of course, for certainly for the US market, I would say you look into Solheim Cup was held in Spain this year, so there's obviously very much an opportunity. Portugal, there's a lot of US money coming into Portugal for golf, so there's some superb golf courses, some fantastic product. And
and I was actually surprised because I had a chance to get on a bunch of courses this past weekend all over, and I've always come to Portugal as like a UNESCO traveler. I say that kind of wide, meaning just hitting the main sites and getting out on the golf courses. You see like just spectacular landscape that you usually don't experience here in Portugal. So Portugal and Spain, super popular for here. But I'm really interested in talking about this North Africa market a little bit because I know that you've hosted shows in Morocco prior to this show.
Yeah, 2019 we were in Morocco.
Which I'm sad I was not there because I met with a lot of Morocco suppliers here. What makes Morocco so popular for you guys?
I think it's just a different type of culture. I think is mainly what it is. I mean, from a European market or a UK market, the fact that it's accessible flight-wise, it's still only what we'd class as a short-haul flight. It's still only sort of 3 to 4 hours from most places, and just a different culture. It's a chance to experience something completely different. You know, when you look into the bazaars, the souks, and you look into the sort of big culture and the food and. But they also still have very much 5-star properties there. They have great golf courses. They have completely different landscape and scenery. So it's just something new to try that is not going too far out of comfort zones. I think is probably the best way to put it. Right.
And let's talk about the Egypt market for a minute because a lot of you guys probably don't realize or recognize really inexpensive to travel to Egypt. And then you can be playing a lot of golf on a fairly good price point there.
Absolutely, and I think the good thing about somewhere like Egypt is that you've got different things that you can see. If you go into the Red Sea, for example, you could go to the pyramids, you can see Cairo, you can see so many different things all within the same country. And the beauty of the golf course is when you can be looking at some of the golf courses that you can see the pyramids, or some of the golf courses you can see the Red Sea when you're playing those. You know, it's beautiful landscape, beautiful scenery, and like you say, on the dollar, it's not too expensive.
Right. So. And this show is so informative because they've got different suppliers put together in every corner of this building from different countries, and you're meeting with 6-8 different people from Sharm el-Sheikh to teach you how to sell golf better. Absolutely. Okay, I want to talk about the Asian market for a minute because I noticed that, Asia I think is hot in Japan right now, and I noticed that you have suppliers here that I've been meeting with, and how do you feel about the Japanese market coming on for travel?
We're really happy that we've had some Japanese suppliers here with us this year. We know as a destination where for golfers they're fantastic and it's huge out there. Obviously the Asian market I suppose is probably slightly behind in regrowth from coming out of the pandemic, and that's what we're seeing across all of our travel shows. But it's definitely an opportunity in an area where, again, there's just such amazing things to see. There's huge difference in culture that you can go and experience and see food-wise, gastronomy. So there's so much to see there. And again, for our remit that we want to try and provide as much of a global opportunity for people to meet, you know, from Cairo to Japan, or to looking at Slovenia, or looking at Portugal, UK, whatever it may be, they all come to this show and you can see so many of them in 1 week.
Now, one of the things that I've liked most about the show was during one of the breaks, you brought in an analyst who looks at inbound, outbound travel for all of these countries. It shows the data of who's buying, how they're buying, how long they're staying, the length of stay. I thought that was really informative. So you're walking away from the show with more than just a relationship, but you're also walking away with data that helps for like the US traveler. One thing that I learned, and let's talk about this, is that women are more likely to travel internationally to play golf than men, they said yesterday. What about the women's growing market in golf?
Yeah, and that's huge for golf in general, and we know that very much. It's a huge growth market. It's something that you look at the LPGA, the Solheim Cup, there's so much of a growth of women's golf, and obviously tourism is going to completely follow that trend. So again, it's breaking that kind of common misconception that that's what golf is about, that it's only male dominated and things. So it's definitely something we want to try and be part of the change. Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, I noticed this show as well is very sustainable I mean, we don't have plastic tags on. What are you doing sustainability-wise to make the show more sustainable friendly?
We want to try and do that. I mean, so we in the past we've produced an event show guide, an actual physical brochure.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of that now is moving on to the app. We're really putting a lot of investment into the technology of the app to make it slick and smooth, so that everything is in the palm of your hand. Again, that's not dissimilar to everything else in the world, but we want to be part of that too. We want to try and reduce the carbon footprint we have as a show. So of course things like the lack of use of plastic on things. We have opportunities for suppliers to sponsor the bottles so that we don't use in plastic cups and things. So again, as much as we can do to try and increase the sustainability of the show is what we want to try and be part of. That's across all of our shows, it's not just IGTMs.
Okay, now we're going to some hot questions.
Okay.
Okay, nobody likes the hot questions, but we love the hot questions as a viewer. Tell me a little bit about what inspires you as a person.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, deep.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I work all year on this show, and I think the beauty of seeing the fruits of your labour, the hard work that you put in, when you can see it come to life at somewhere like IGTM, you see these huge, really impressive stands, and you just see everybody here, it can't help but make you feel proud about what we do. So. Okay.
Do you have any success stories coming out of this that you feel like, oh, this happened in Morocco 3 years ago and it changed somebody's business? Or, I mean, do you see individual success like that, or do you just...
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we know that a lot of the time the relationships that are made here are not necessarily everything is done now. But that said, we always get testimonials coming out the back of it. So one that I can recall off the top of my head, University of St Andrews in Scotland, they did 100,000 sterling of business on day one in IGTM in Morocco for the upcoming Open Championship that was back in 2020 then, and it was in 2019 we had the show. Yeah. They did £100,000 worth of business signed in IGTM in Morocco.
Yeah, and that actually was one of the biggest finds for me, the University of St Andrews here, because if you want to bring student groups, families, people that might not be able to afford, the Ashworth Castle and then playing, that actually is a really great price point advantage that I'm walking away with. It. You could bring 20 golfers who maybe, didn't think that this was in in the possibilities.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And I think that's great. So that somewhere like, obviously the Open Championship that takes place is over the summer. Universities in the UK are not used in the summer.
Right.
And therefore there's just obviously plenty of bedrooms that are not being used. Yeah. And, to be able to offer there will be obviously people that will want to stay in the castles and want to stay in some brand high-end resorts. But at the same time, we want to try and make golf as inclusive to everybody as possible, going back to about kind of younger people, women. It's about trying to make sure we promote golf to everybody, that it should be an inclusive sport for everyone to get involved in.
Do you feel like anybody's moving ahead of Scotland in terms of popularity for golf, or will that always stay first place?
I've got to be really careful. I can't say who's going to be the top or bottom. So Scotland, Ireland, England, Wales, they've all got some fantastic golf courses. Of course, Scotland have this the home of golf. So of course, and they're here with us this year, Visit Scotland and many partners. So of course, I'm going to be very thankful to them, but I'm going to sit on the fence, I think, and not give too much away that somebody's overtaking them.
Okay. Favorite player? Do you have one?
I mean, you've always got to go with Tiger Woods as a favourite player. I think that's going to be difficult to get away from that. Favourite current player? I actually, despite the accent, I'm not Scottish, but my family is. So obviously, Robert McIntyre is someone I'm hugely inspired by. A great Ryder Cup that he's recently had. Yeah. Sorry to American viewers, but so someone like him is great to see. Someone a rookie going into the Ryder Cup and doing so well was fantastic to see.
Okay, do you have a favourite tour that you like to watch? What's your favourite tournament?
I mean, I'm actually very close to Wentworth from where I live. So the BMW PGA, which was just a few weeks ago, I'm a big fan of. And again, my family are all from Scotland. Again, so the Open Championship being in Troon next year, that's where my dad was born. So again, that has very much a home connection for me. So
and how often do you get out to all these courses? I mean, I'm pretty sure this is taking up a lot of your time. Do you ever get time to really go out and play?
It's probably a common misconception that we play all the time, but sadly that isn't necessarily the case. This is a 365-day sort of build to get here for IGTM, so playing all the time is not always as possible. I have a young family with 2 small children as well, so it's not always as easy. I'd love to, and of course everybody is very open-armed when we go out and see them, but I don't play as much as I'd like, so I'd love to. But
going back to the show, how do the suppliers and the buyers become hosted again, that's through your vetting process.
Yeah, so we host the buyers that are attending here. So they are essentially our product that we sell.
Yeah.
So effectively, the buyers that are coming, we host them for the week. That we like to. That's why we move destination each year, because we give them a chance to stay in the hotels that are in the city, to play the golf courses. We have a golf day on day one where everybody, and again, it's not a competition whether you're a beginner or a professional. It's open to everybody. But the buyers we host for the week. So again, provided that you qualify and you're vetted, then that's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
But then we have the same hotels that the buyers will be hosted in, the suppliers will also stay in. So again, it's just increasing that a chance to network, not only in the 20-minute appointments that we have back to back every day, but it's also outside of that. We're very, very much aware that although the formal conversations take place in the meetings, the informal conversations are where a lot of the business gets done. So
Right.
In the bars, on the golf course, at lunch, at dinners, there's so much more to it. And that's really, as a face-to-face exhibition, that's what we want. We want people to walk away with connections, either strengthened connections with people they already know, or new connections with people that they don't. And whether it gets business signed like the University of St Andrews on the day,
Yeah.
or whether it's just part of a marketing strategy to keep moving that business forward. We just want people to walk away with a bigger network than they had when they walked in the door.
Yeah. Are you seeing any growth with the cruise industry and day trips for golf?
Yeah, I think so. I think, again, the cruise industry, obviously, it's great to just stop at so many places. And I think that someone coming to somewhere like IGTM can be really handy for that, because if you're booking cruise ships and booking holidays on cruises, then you need to make sure that you're connecting with people that are every step along the way.
Yeah.
And again, being a truly international global show like IGTM,
Yeah.
you have the opportunity to meet people from all of those steps along the way in the same room at the same time.
Yeah, so you've got golf clubs here, golf clubs. Okay, so you've got golf courses here, you've got hotelers here, you've got DMCs here, you've got airlines here, you've got every component that makes growing your golf business possible here.
And I think for that, we're coming to the golf travel market and coming to IGTM, even if your clientele is not necessarily all about booking golf, and like you were saying earlier on about adding revenue to your business,
Yeah.
I think there's probably a common misconception that if you don't know golf, it's maybe a little bit daunting to get into. But all the suppliers are here are more than happy to try and help you
Yeah.
step by step of the way, to help you book more travel, more golfers on their golf course. So coming to the show, even if it's something stepping out of your comfort zone, even if it's something your business doesn't necessarily do right now, if you have golfers or you have clients on your books that book
Yeah.
golf and they're booking with someone else, that's just revenue you're not taking advantage of. And it's really not that difficult. It's really not that daunting. It's something that many people here will help you with. They'll take you by the hand and step by step give you the opportunity to make more revenue for your business by booking their golf.
Okay, thanks for having me. I'm Angela Hughes with the Insider Travel Report.